I knit myself a $4 shawl that I am absolutely in love with. I'm Michelle, this is my romantic tangle, and I'm going to tell you about my Dollar Tree shawl that I knit from Just Yarn Tweed. I'm really happy with this. I love the pattern, love the yarn. Back in May, I told you that I had fallen in love with the Just Yarn Tweed and bought someone was going to knit something with it. I wound up buying a couple of extra skeins and knitting myself a shawl. This is 4 skeins, which is 480 yards of yarn. In another perfecter world where I felt like knitting longer, I probably would have bought another couple skeins and made it bigger. But I like it. It makes me happy. The pattern I used is the January Morning Shawl. It is a pattern in Knit, Shawls, and Wraps in 1 week. A book that I checked out from my local library. I do have a full flip through and review of this book. There are lots of great shawls in here. This does call for an Aran weight yarn, 328 yards, so surprisingly I did knit it with pretty close to the called for weight of yarn, and mine did come out to about the size I would expect. I don't do gauge swatches on shawls like this, but it came out. It is a squishy, wonderful triangle of garter stitch, and then it has a cable running down one side, and I think I made some counting errors in my cable. Either my twists aren't laying quite right because it's been scrunched up in my knitting bag, or I made counting errors. Either one of those are my fault. I love these shawls where you start at the point and get some kind of specialized thing going on the edge and then just increase down the other edge. It is great mindless knitting. This 6-stitch cable is really easy to memorize if you're better at counting your rows than I am, maybe. I like this yarn. Now, okay, when I give you my opinion on this yarn, I love the color. I am placing my expectations on the fact that this is yarn from the Dollar Tree that normally retails for $1 for a 120 yard skein. 4 skeins, no knots, no problems. There was some cardboard glued to the outer edges of the yarn because my skein had gotten caught in the box, which if I had been paying the slightest bit of attention at the store, I would have noticed that. That is on me, not on the yarn. And things happen. This is about as nice as you're going to get for 100% acrylic dirt cheap yarn. I would equate it with a better than usual skein of Red Heart Super Saver if that gives you anything to go by. I don't know. By the time I got midway through the 3rd skein, I was starting to love it a little bit less, and I don't know how much of that was the yarn or how much of that was my mood. I don't know if I would knit myself a sweater out of this, although I was seriously tempted when I first found the yarn. I would definitely do sweaters for little kids. I would definitely do a blanket or any one of a zillion other things. I'm gonna spend some time with my shawl and decide whether I want to take up the challenge of knitting a sweater for me, and probably the biggest deciding factor in that is going to be I have so much yarn already to work my way through. Have you used the Just Yarn Tweed? Do you like it? Is there another Dollar Tree yarn that you're liking better that I should be knitting with instead? Let me know in the comments section down below. I'll put a link to my review of the book and a link to my first video about this yarn. And I have got so many more things in the works because I am trying to not bust my yarn stash or knit my way through all my yarn stash, but I'm trying to make a dent. Thanks for watching. I'm Michelle, and this is my romantic tangle, and I'll be back with you with more videos soon.